Hi, it's Sam here, and today we're going to look at a really interesting study I found about what happens to guys that train in the gym when they think they're on gear, the old super subs, and they're actually not. So they're actually on a placebo. It's a really interesting study, and I'm going to guide you through it. Stay with me, and you'll see the exact circumstances of the trial, exactly what they thought they were taking, and their differences in gym performance that were tested at the end. And we'll have a little chat about what this might mean for the power of the mind and training. So, this study is a really old one. Here's the title here. So, it's all about the placebos, not this bit. And this was published in the Medicine and Science and Sports Journal back in 1972. And it was concerning this one, the Dbol. So, a classic medicine, the classic era. What could be more classic than that? It was by Gideon Ariel and William Saville. There's a little preamble here, but the real interesting bit starts here. They talk about the motivational effects of gear having not been measured. That is the power of the mind. So the circumstances were 15 athletes that had been training for 2 years, 5 days a week, and training hard for 4 months up to the actual experiment were taken, and they were tested on their seated, military, and bench presses and the squat. So what they did was they took 15 volunteers, and they were taken for 7 weeks in what they're calling the pre-placebo period, and then it was just 3 weeks in the placebo period. And when they were in the placebo period, they believed that they were taking the 10 milligrams of basic stuff. So what happened was their strength gains were measured during this time, the initial period of the 7 weeks, and they were compared to the 3 weeks afterwards where they thought they were on the basic stuff, and the strength gains were compared in what they're calling the PP, that's pre-placebo, and the placebo periods here. And yeah, I can't believe the results of this. It is actually incredible. But what's important to note before we get to that is that these guys were trained already. If we go back, they've been training for 2 years before the pre-placebo phase. So a lot of studies about these sorts of medicines are remedial. They're talking about people that have muscle wasting diseases, or they're untrained, or they're the elderly. But this is actually on athletes, and I know it's a small sample, just 15, and out of those 15, it was actually whittled down to just 6 that were taken into the placebo period, where they were given the placebo instead of the basic stuff. And here it shows the difference. You got kilograms here, and it's measured in aggregate here for the training period beforehand of the 7 weeks, and then the 3 weeks, and then it's broken down into squat, bench press, a military press, and a sitting press. And it's only the sitting press where there wasn't really much difference, but you can see from the angles on the charts here that there was a lot more progress in the placebo period, when they believed that they were on the basic stuff at 10 milligrams a day, but not actually on it, just being given a placebo kind of sugar pill instead. It's not very clear from this graph here in terms of the numbers, but what really makes it interesting is the second table on the last page. So this is the statistical analysis. Unless you read a lot of studies, this probably isn't going to mean a lot to you, but this is where it gets interesting. The effects of the treatment in maximal weight liftage in kilograms, and you've got the before and after for, these are the ones we really want to look at, military press, bench press, and the squat. You've got the difference in kilograms for those 3, and then a huge greater difference in the placebo period, when they weren't on anything but believed they were on. And it's a remarkable difference. You've got in the bench press an increase over that training period of about 4.5 kilos, then it's 13. With the military press, it was 0.73, and then it was 7.5. Or the squat, 2.5 to nearly 19 kilos difference maximum lift in the squat. And that's in less time. So if we just go back to the actual periods of the PP period and look, here we are, 7 weeks. These people are already hard trained, made these differences here. That's your 7 weeks. And then in that placebo period, we just double check the time there. So yes, it is 7 weeks of the pre-placebo period and 4 weeks of that placebo period. Absolutely incredible. And it also, there's another extraneous variable. It says that during that P period, when they were subject to the placebo effect, there were no dietary supplements administered. So that would be something else that would be a confounding variable. So 7 weeks versus 4, and this much difference just from believing that they were on 10 milligrams a day of the basic stuff, those 6 participants, and they were all trained, so it wasn't, confounded by some kind of newbie gains thing either. And I just find that absolutely remarkable. I've always understood that your positivity and training and your mindset is really, really important, and believing in yourself. Or I know that you can't replicate this because you can't believe that you're on the basic stuff unless you're under the circumstances of this scenario. But in the real world, this could be like a fly-by-night UGL kind of situation where someone ends up with something and it's not what they hope for. But then the effort that they put into their training. It already notes in the study that no dietary changes were made, but just the effort that's gone into their training and really giving their all made a much greater difference over a period of 4 weeks than the 7 weeks of hard training before. So absolutely remarkable, and I think it serves as a reminder to us all that you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to work hard, and that is a continual theme that I want to keep returning to on this channel. It always going to boil down to hard work over a long period of time. But what was achieved here in 4 weeks with a bit of manufactured self-belief is amazing. So if you found this interesting or motivational in some kind of way, consider subscribing, and there'll be more analysis of studies from past and present over the course of this channel. Cheers.